President Trump has agreed to shut down his charitable foundation, the Donald J. Trump Foundation. This is one of the three things the New York AG demanded of Trump when she filed the lawsuit against him back in June. She asked for Trump to pay fines and restitution. She asked for Trump to be banned from serving on the board of any New York state charity for a period of 10 years. And also she asked for the foundation to be shut down. This was sort of the easiest one of those three to resolve. Trump already wanted to shut it down. It was just working out the conditions under which it would be shut. So he's going to give away the remaining $1.75 million only under the supervision of the judge and the New York AG. So they'll have to approve whatever charities Trump chooses to give away the last of the money. The rest of the lawsuit, asking for the millions of dollars, asking for the ban on Trump serving on charity boards, that goes on. We started looking at Trump's charitable foundation back in 2016 during the presidential campaign, and what we found basically by looking through old charity records, by calling people that had gotten money from Trump's foundation, was that he had tended to treat the foundation, which by law is an independent entity with its own board of directors, its own goals, its own money, it's separate from him. He had tended to treat it as just a checkbook for himself. During the Iowa caucuses and the New Hampshire primary, the very sort of crucial early stages of voting in the 2016 Republican primary, two of the things Trump wanted voters to believe about himself was that he was rich and that he loved veterans. And so he used his charity and other people's money. His charity is made up mostly of other people's money. He used that money to reinforce those two qualities, his richness and his love of veterans.
Tell us just a little bit about yourself and what you do, because, you know, we vetted for the vets, but we vetted very carefully, and the people that are getting this money are tremendous.
During the middle of his campaign rallies in Iowa and New Hampshire, he'd stop the rally and give away a big check that said Donald J. Trump Foundation on the top to a local veterans group. And it helped reinforce two important qualities about him to voters. And that was all done with a charity's money, legally a charity that was supposed to have its own ends and goals and wasn't supposed to be involved in politics. The Attorney General is not only suing Donald Trump, who was the president of this foundation since the beginning, she's also suing Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr., and Ivanka Trump, the three eldest children of President Trump, because they were, in theory, they were officers of this charity. And their job is to make sure that the guy who runs the charity, their father, isn't misusing it and spending it in ways that benefited himself. And it turned out they were, at least according to the New York Attorney General, they weren't doing that job at all. In fact, the board that they were on had not actually met since 1999. There's two really big questions that I'd like to answer that I still can't. And even with the New York Attorney General's investigation, we haven't answered. One is the biggest source of funding for the Trump Foundation in the last decade was not Trump at all. It was Vince and Linda McMahon, the world wrestling moguls. They gave $5 million to the foundation starting in 2007, which is much more than Trump had given anywhere around then. So for years, Donald Trump was giving away what seemed like his money, but really it was the McMahon's money. Why did they give $5 million to this rinky-dink foundation? I don't know. They never explained that. I'd love to know the reason for that. Linda McMahon, as you know, is now the small business administrator. She was given a top-level government post by Donald Trump. The other one, this is kind of, it's a weirder quest. It's not such a big deal, but to me, it's really an interesting question. One of the things Trump did with his charity's money that I think people really were interested in was that in 2007, he used $20,000 of the charity's money to buy a giant portrait of himself, a 6-foot-tall portrait of himself. It has to be used for charitable purposes. So where is it? Is it on the wall of a children's hospital someplace? Is it decorating a university? Is it doing some sort of charitable good? I've never been able to figure out where it is. And so one of the things that after we reported about that, the Trump Foundation listed in its tax documents finally that it did own this portrait, which it assigned a value of $700. And the last tax filings, though, it says the value of the painting is now $0. I don't know why. Did they lose it? Did somebody drop it down, drop it off a flight of stairs? I need to know where it is and what it's doing. That's just an example of the kind of mysteries we still don't know about the Trump Foundation.